Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about where we go from here. Where are we going? What are we doing? What's coming up? What should we be looking forward to or not looking forward to? But I think the most important thing that we're going to be trying to talk about today is looking back.
Like not looking
back. What
back.
used to be our lives. Well, not looking back. Maybe, I think that you should lead us into this episode, Lo, because this was your idea, and I think that you have a bunch of stuff to say about it.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on in the world right now. I think Lucy and I can personally both even say, if you're in our Patreon, if you're in our Telegram group, you know that there's a lot going on. Each of us are really needing to change things. We see a lot of people around us having to do the same thing. And we're seeing where people are getting stuck, where people aren't moving forward, where they're feeling that life has just become this hamster wheel, or there's just a lot to it. It's hard to go into detail without putting examples, of course. So we probably will use ourselves as examples in this episode. I think that will be the best way to do this. But the message I got, and it was kind of through something I saw on social media, it was, there's a lot of talk about going back to normal. There's a lot of talk of, yeah, when things go back to normal, it'll be great. We'll be able to do those things we used to do. Life's going to go back to how it was. It's going to be great. And there's just all this expectation and this energy going into, if I just do all these things right now, if I comply, if I follow the rules, then things are going to go back to normal. You know, this pandemic has really shown us that we needed to change things. We've talked about that last year a lot, right? With changing and going inward and being able to make those decisions, those shifts and shifts of direction and paths to be able to honor ourselves more, heal what was inside. And now the message that Lucy and I both are really getting, and we talk a lot about this with each other, is things aren't going back to normal. And I'm going to put normal in air quotes here. There is no normal. Like, we've shifted.
This is now the normal.
This is the normal. And this isn't even the normal. Like, that, what's normal today is not what's normal in 6 months or what's normal in 12 months. We're going to need to continually adapt and change. And I think it's a lot of us needing to learn.
There's like so many cycles. We're going through cycles so quickly. It's like boom, 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 boom. We're too far away from what we were before we came into this. So many cycles have cycled through. It's impossible to get humanity back on that.
We need to adapt.
I guess call it path.
Yeah, we need to adapt, and we need to realize that we just need to move forward. It's not about looking back. It's not about missing the past. It's not about being this nostalgic. I mean, you can be nostalgic if you like, of course, but it's not going back to what it was. It's like us thinking about our childhood and us wanting to be kids again. It's not going to happen.
I also want to say, do not be coerced into doing anything. And I'm not just talking about what people might be thinking. I'm talking about, they're going to start pushing so many agendas, Lorena.
I know.
So you think that they're coercing people to do something now. Like, there's so many things they're going to start pushing us to do. Just give this little bit. But then now to just give this little bit over here. And now that just do this over here. And then just do this over there. This is just the beginning. And all we're doing by complying, I mean, the whole comply thing, like, I try not to talk about it too much because it just, I think you know, because I'll talk about it. I'm like, no! Like, no one's noticing that every time they give more and they just say yes to things, it's just, oh my God.
Yeah.
I get it's a trigger for me because I see what's happening. People just bow down, you know, yes, sir. Okay, yes, government, sir. Yes, government, sir. Here's this, here's that. You know, next thing you know, they have control over everyone you know, including yourself, and you will not get your freedom back.
No.
You will not get it back once they took it. Good luck with that. Go tell a country like Venezuela, go get your country back once it's been taken over. You will not. And so how are they going to get there? Just by doing what they're doing now. It's just this little bit. It's just that little bit. It's just this over here. It's just that over there. And you're a good example of what I'm about to say is behind our backs, they're changing laws left, right, forward, everywhere, all around us. These governments are going behind our backs. They're no longer asking us to vote for things. They're just doing it on their own. And they're bought off. They're bought off entities. And these bought off entities don't care about you. I think the next thing that people, and I'm like being a little heavy, like stern, like I don't want to be too strong, but I think there's a sense of urgency here because there is no more time. There is no more time. You need to realize that the government doesn't care about you, and FYI, they never did.
Yeah.
So whatever they're trying to tell you to do, whether it's to hand over your kid to go to school with a mask on, or it's to go take this experimental medication over here, because there'll be more, by the way. There's going to be pills, and there's going to be drops, and there's going to be whatever and whatever. There's going to be everything. It's going to be all over the place. Whatever they invent next, I don't care. I'm not taking it. Anything they freaking invent, I'm not taking it. I'm taking freaking nature. That's what I'm taking. But whatever, the more we give in, it's going to get worse. And it already is. And then we're already at a point where we can't fix what we've already bowed down to.
Yeah. There's no turning back. This is what we're saying, right?
I don't want to sound mean. Like, I don't want to sound mean because I don't know if I sound mean, but I don't want to sound mean. I want people to realize what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's going to hit the countries that are used to being comfortable, by the way. So if you're living in a country like me, I'm in Europe. If you're living in a country that's the United States, well, we already see UK and Australia, we're very comfortable. When you live in those comfortable countries where you're used to these commodities, you're used to things being fixed for you. And I think that's something that we need to talk about in this episode. No longer is it the time to let other people fix your problems. In this case, we're talking about in general government, right? No longer is it somebody else's job to take care of you and say, well, my doctor knows better than me. No, from now on, your government does not know better than you, and your doctor does not know better than you. And you need to take your power back, and you need to take the power back with your family. Each member of the family needs to start getting their power back. And that's educational systems as well.
I mean,
we're going to
if
see
you
collapses
think
of educational systems
this power
as well.
we've been giving out to so many people, we've been giving that out to influencers and people that are deciding things and pushing things on us. That's been happening for so long now, right? It's like, when have I stopped making decisions for myself and started doing things because I know that's right for me, or I really like it, or I don't like it, so I decide. We're being influenced all of the time. It's been something that's been so prevalent for the last few years. It's hard to move away from that, but we're all being asked to be our own authority, to be our own source of, like, I don't know, like that, like imagine that one person you look up to that you ask questions and to get answers from. Like, you need to be that person now. You need to be going inside. You need to be listening to your intuition. You need to know what's right for you, what's not right for you. And whatever you've done up to this point, and I want to say this because I think some people are like, well, I'm already in this deep. It's like, no, you can stop now and move forward. You know, and I'm not talking about what's happening outside of us. I want to focus on us, how we're dealing with the situation and how we can move forward. So, of course, there's a lot going on. Like Lucia was saying, I understand that. I completely agree with everything she's saying. But we want to focus this episode on how can you deal with this and why we can't keep looking back, first of all, to change things. Like, I can't expect things to go back to what they were. They're not going to. They definitely will not be going back to what they were. I can guarantee you that. Some aspects of it maybe, but not in the same way. And then we need to be like listening to ourselves. It's not, well, this person told me to do this. Well, you went ahead and did it. You decided that. You gave them the okay. So now that's on your shoulders to deal with. No one else can fix this. We can only fix this. We can only make things better. So the main idea with this episode that I kept feeling was it's this new way we need to start living. And we've probably dabbled in some of these topics in different episodes. We go a lot into this on our Patreon, you know, speaking your truth, empowerment, resetting, you know, some people's like the Great Reset. It's a new energy that we need to align with, right? Because things are different. They're going to be different, and we need to make sure that we're living aligned with that. So I think there's different aspects to this. I think in a spiritual sense, we have to rely on ourselves even more. Like, of course, we can ask for help. We can get people to align with us and help us through finding those answers. But more than ever, we need to be looking inside of ourselves and figuring out what feels right, what is right for us, what is right for our families, and figuring out a different way of living with this new reality. But if we're putting that pressure,
finding your tribe that's going to go down that same route as you.
Yes,
because not everyone's going to decide the same thing.
We need support. No, I agree, and I think if something Lucy and I each have learned through the last year or so is a lot of people have left our lives. We're aligning in a different way with people, and as people have exited, amazing people have entered too. So, they might not be physically with us, but they're supporting us, they're helping us, and we're doing the same for others and trying to be there for as many people as we can. I'm doing it in my way. Lucy is doing it in her way. We're being authentic to ourselves and how that looks for each of us. But I think let's start with like not looking back. Like why is everybody looking back? There's so many people that are like, don't worry, it'll go back to normal. No, it will not. Lucy and I are connected to our Akashic Records right now. We have been downloading and connecting for a while now.
You just say, like, when you say, like, people think it's going to go back to normal, the only thing I feel is, like, I feel like cracking up.
It's funny. It's funny and sad.
It's just so funny to me. Yeah.
It's not. It's not. It definitely will not. All of this is happening for us to break these old ways of living, these old structures, this old authority. We're supposed to be standing up. We're supposed to be speaking up. We're supposed to be becoming our own source of authority, because it's been taken from us. And more we're realizing that with what's happening, right? Like there's decisions being made, like Lucia said, there's things being changed from one day to the next. And all of a sudden we have to find our footing and understand where we're going. And it's like,
it's happening in so many places.
And in so many different ways too.
One place.
Yeah. In so many different ways. And it can feel overwhelming. This is why, months and months and months ago, we were saying, you guys need to go inward. You guys need to really be listening to yourselves. You need to be connecting spiritually. You need to be clearing out a lot of stuff, because it's going to get hard. If you guys feel like it's hard right now, well, newsflash, it's going to get harder. In some ways, it's going to get harder. So we need to be real with you guys. This is the message we keep getting. We feel like we can't keep that back. We can't hold that in. We need to be real with you guys, and we need to tell you what's coming through, especially if the Akashic Records are pushing those messages onto us. We have some kind of duty to tell that to you, because we have this platform, right? So we need to speak our truth. As everybody else here listening to this podcast, you guys need to speak your truth too. What is that? And we can't fear losing people in our lives at this point, because, I attended a protest last weekend. That was my first protest in my entire life. Like, it was standing up for freedom of choice. It was standing up for...
I was very proud of you when I saw that.
Yeah. And for me, that was really getting out of my comfort zone, because I'm, I've said this on the podcast a lot of times.
Lorena doesn't like conflict.
I don't like conflict. And there was no conflict. It was so peaceful. It was amazing. And there were so many people supporting.
But you didn't know that when you were planning to go.
I did not know that. I was scared. I was really scared. I was nervous. But at the same time, I felt something inside of me that I never felt before. It was this energy of, I'm not just doing this for myself. This could be for other people too that are afraid to stand up and they're not doing it right now. And for people that don't realize what's coming. And
This is nothing.
This is nothing. And does this make a difference? I don't know, because actually I think this bill, there's a bill that's being passed that basically is forcing certain people to do things to their body that they might not want to do.
And this is a very religious island. So they're putting this limitation on people that are, because I know some people will use a religion card for certain things. No, these are actually very religious people.
Yeah.
So this is actually something that's devastating to them and their actual belief system. It's very sad, because living there, we know how deep they are about their religious beliefs.
Yeah, even if it wasn't religious, like, I have a right to choose what I want for my body. I have a right to do what feels right for me and for whatever I expect out of my own life. And that's being taken away. And that is a human rights issue at this point. It's not about...
Can I just add something to that? If at some point you feel triggered, like where you're hearing us say this, that you have the right to this, there's a lot of people that I've heard get really angry, really triggered by that.
Yeah.
And they'll say really awful, mean things. And listen to yourself. Is that you thinking that, or is that a program?
Is that an ego thing?
Because when you react that strongly, it's probably been put inside of you by some external entity. Be that
fear,
whatever.
Lots of fear. Yeah. And this is exactly what I feel. And I've been reading comments and looking at how people were making us feel like we were crazy. It's like people are making me feel crazy for pushing for freedom of choice and rights for people. What's wrong with that? And what I've connected, I've tried to understand it from a different perspective. I've cried, I've gotten really upset. I feel like there's like a battle that's being lost because people aren't seeing the bigger picture of this. It isn't just about this that's happening right now. What's going to happen afterwards? What's going to happen in a year? What's going to happen? Like Lucia said, this is a slippery slope.
It's a little bit
here, a little bit there. And all of a sudden, bam, what happened? And you look back, you're like,
and later on,
wow.
Whatever it is that because guys, this is just one thing. And you can agree with us or not agree with us, but this is just one thing. The next thing is going to be something that might really impact you. And they're going to tell you, if you don't do it, we're going to cut off your water. Mm-hmm. If you don't do it, we're going to turn off electricity. They're literally going to take over everything in your life. Just because everyone's saying, oh, you know what? We're pushovers. We're easily pushed over. You just, go ahead.
I don't think it's even that. I think people are in so much fear. There's a lot of people in fear because they're watching the media, they're listening to specific narratives, and there's so much fear that they think they don't feel that they're being pushed over.
I know
that they're being pushovers.
But I'm saying like pushovers as in energetically. Like energetic, you're showing the universe, I can be easily pushed over.
Oh, energetically speaking, yes, totally.
Yes, yeah. But the universe only sees what you do. It doesn't care what you say. The universe sees what you do. And what are you showing the universe right now? I'll comply to anything as long as we go back to normal, right? Or whatever it is that's going through your mind. Or I'll just do this one thing and they'll let me go anywhere, go anywhere, go into any restaurant, or just put on this mask and I can go into the supermarket. Like it's you're telling the universe,
I'm okay with this. I agree.
Send me some more.
Yeah.
Just like it's like manifesting. You're like, no, you know what? I'm going to do what I love, and I'm going to expect the universe to take care of me. And then the universe is like, oh, well, you're actually doing it. Here's some more support. Here's some more support. Or when you're like living from fear and poverty, the universe is going to keep giving you poverty, right? Here, go work an extra job. Go get a third job. Go make it. You want to be a victim? You want to play a victim? Here's some more debt. Look, your refrigerator just broke down. You got to buy a new one. Oh, more debt, right?
Yeah.
Because the universe is saying, this is what you're asking for. This is where you're living from. Here you go.
Yeah. And if we break that down, let's talk about, like, for example, okay, being mandated to have some kind of vaccine passport to go into a restaurant, let's say, for example, right? You're saying you're okay with there being limitations for you to do something that before was normal. You were free to go into any restaurant as long as you were, let's say, wearing shorts, a shirt, and flip-flops. Like, you can't go in maybe without any shoes. There are always some rules, but those rules have always been there. Now they're adding more rules. So you're saying it's okay for the universe to keep adding these restrictions and these rules for me to do these things that I was doing so openly, normally, and freely before. So that's us. If we're talking about an energetic level, to me, it feels like you're agreeing with that. So if they can put in these restrictions, if I agree to these restrictions, then, hey, universe, bring me more. What else can you restrict me? It's like you're calling that in.
The majority of the collective is trying to get back to possibly normal.
And I can understand that part of it. Yeah, I can understand that.
The collective is downloading that experience because there's so many people doing that okay thing. Lorraine, it could get to a point where they can even be like, you're not allowed to have any children because we don't decide that you would be a good parent. The government decided that you can't be a good parent. You're not permitted to have any children, for example. Or, we've seen that your family it tends to go into debt a little bit or owe a little bit of money. You can't have any more kids. Mm-hmm. Like, you're giving them permission. And when I say they're going to control everything, if you give them permission, they will, guys. They will control everything.
Yeah, of course they will. And it won't be from one day to the next. It'll be a slow process as we allow these things or don't allow these things to happen. So I think the first thing that we all need to really come to terms with is we are not going back to what was before. And I don't want to say to what was normal, because the normal will be redefined as the time goes by. There will be new normals. What's normal today isn't normal what's in a month. That's going to be my reality right now. In a month, I'm going to have to be taking and making certain decisions due to certain things that are happening right now and people allowing that to happen. I can rest assured that I stood up. I spoke my truth. And I did what I felt was right in helping move things forward in a different way. I definitely feel like if we can move away from this idea of, wow, when things go back to normal, I think then we can start seeing the reality, because we're living in the past otherwise, and we're not energetically moving forward. You cannot look back.
Just wait till they start pushing climate change, because that's the next probably thing. When they start pushing climate change, they're going to tell you that you can't do more than one vacation a year and can't be blah, blah kilometers more away from your home of residence or something, because you're telling them it's okay. You're going to accept it all.
Yep.
There's so many possible actions that I see that are going through. I don't know if I'm saying going through their heads, because I don't know what I'm tapping into exactly. So I don't know if it's somebody's head, but there's so many scenarios I see that it's almost, there must be psychopaths, Lorena, because when I tap into this, I feel like they get excited.
Mm-hmm. I see, like, if I look into the future, so I think, like, where do we go from here? This really depends what we decide today, where the decisions we make and what we allow to happen or not happen. And if I visually look down this future through the Akashic Records, I see like many probabilities, many different paths. There's so many. And I think this is why it's so hard for us as readers to say this is what's going to happen. Because
it's so much is hanging on. I've never found it so hard.
So many things are hanging on the way we're going to move and decide, and what we're allowing to happen or not happen. We have a say here. I want to say that because I think a lot of us are like, well, it's just going to happen, whatever, like just let it be. It's like, no, we have a say. If we all come together as a collective, we can change the future. We can change what probability line we go down for the future. And I think we're all allowing our ego to get in the way and fear get in the way and not think rationally and think in a broader scale so that we can live life differently and align with this new way. Whatever's happening now in the present, it's not continuing. Like, remember we were saying in previous episodes, especially at the beginning of this year or last year, saying how it's like we're not repeating things. We're living something differently. We need to go inward and figure out what that is, and then start to bring forward whatever it is that we want to start living. It's starting to change, make new decisions, and that's constantly shifting. We're not living in this hamster wheel anymore. Things are shifting so quickly, energetically. And we need to be able to adapt. If we don't adapt, we're going to be thrown off course. Fear is going to get in the way. Ideas will be put in our heads, and it'll be easy for us to just give in to whatever's happening instead of us realizing, hey, something doesn't feel right. Like, if I take a step back from all this and look at it from a different perspective, this doesn't make sense. Like, nothing makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to go crazy because I just see so many possibilities. It's like you were saying, like there's so many different probability and possibility lines. Sometimes I feel I'm going crazy because I want to be like, okay, this could happen. Okay, then maybe this minute, but I don't know where to grab onto, like, right? Yeah. But I think it's because so many people are on the fence. Is it? I don't know. Is it wrong? Is this right?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Because they're not listening to their intuition.
That and on the fence energy is what's actually creating it's almost like a perfect storm. the perfect storm number one is it's allowing I'm going to call it an agenda because it's an agenda. It's allowing their agenda to push forward. But it's also creating a place where you're easily manipulated.
Yeah.
Where you'll get caught off guard and be like, oh, this. Okay, whatever. Oh, I thought I should have thought about it more. Or, maybe I should have moved to this one place I felt like I needed to move to. Or maybe I should have done this. Or maybe I should have done that. Or whatever it is you're going through. You can no longer be up at the fence about anything. You need to know today exactly where you stand because there's two sides of history here. It's going to be those that saw what was happening and stood up for it and said, no, we will not accept it. And karmically speaking, you want to be on that side because if not, you're going to have to cycle through, you're going to have to come back to Earth and cycle through this again so your soul can this time choose to try to find freedom on Earth because this process is not going to end till Earth actually finally liberates from freedom. So this is the whole project of Earth. If you have to say it in a nutshell, the project of Earth it's like a game. It's like not a virtual. I don't like saying virtual game. It's like a simulated game where souls play this game on purpose because it creates incredible expansion and lessons. Because you get feelings here, you get 3D reality feelings and all this stuff, and your soul is going to be able to cycle through this lesson of I saw through the looking glass and behind all that fog of lies and manipulation because guys, our souls signed up for this. Like our souls knew they were signing up to live in a place that had all that. So the soul kind of goes through the fog and goes, I think this time I'm going to get through the fog. I'm going to see past it. Many of us that are seeing it now, maybe last time our souls went through it, we didn't see it. And that's why we're here again. And that's why we're so stern about it because we're finally getting it this time. And we're like, yeah, all right, we got it. Like, I'm seeing it.
We're not doubting, right?
Yeah, no. I think Sandra sometimes tells me, but what if you're wrong? But I know I'm not wrong. Like, I'm so sure about it. He's like, yeah, but everyone else feels the same thing about their perspective. I'm like, but I know that, I don't know. I just know it. I know exactly what you're saying, but I know I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And you just have to look at what they do and the way they do it. They contradict themselves. Once you open your eyes and you open your third eye, right? Once you open all your eyes and your intuitive gut, you go, they're sloppy.
Yeah.
They're actually sloppy. You can catch them making so many mistakes and catch them in the middle of lies and then saying something that totally contradicts the lie. But the only way you can see it is if you have all those eyes open, AKA you're looking through the fog and you're moving the fog, right?
That's where spirituality comes in, right? Where we're talking about like spirituality needs to be a part of this process of us living differently and looking forward. So when we talk about the Akashic Records, we're never looking back in this sense right now. We're looking forward. What are the probability lines and how do I play a part in each one of those? And what's best for humanity? What's best for the collective? We need to be thinking in those terms. That's where spirituality kicks in. And we need to think that when we're not connected to ourselves spiritually, this is when the ego can come in. This is when we're allowing ourselves to feel the fear, to feel the doubt, to not trust ourselves. This is when we need to be leaning on spirituality, our own spirituality, our personal spirituality in our practices, even more than ever before. Like if there was ever a time to lean on this, it's now. It's crucial.
It's what's going to keep you sane.
It will be what keeps you sane and what keeps you for making the decisions that are for your higher good and for the collective, for the higher good of the collective. There's no looking back, guys. Like, of course we can look back to heal, but not to look back to yearn something that no longer exists. It doesn't exist anymore.
What comes to mind when you say it is forget about it.
Yeah, we need to forget about it. Exactly. Like this is a whole new way of experiencing life, living life, feeling life, and I think we're not being thrown all these things in vain. Like these things are being thrown at us because there's lessons we need to learn through what's happening, through these experiences, through these emotions it's bringing up, not to knock us down. And I've been feeling that the last day or so. I just need to get through this. Like I trust my gut. I trust my intuition on the decisions.
We've both been going through a lot the next days. I'm kind of feeling what you're going through. At the same time, I've been tapping into a possible scenario coming into play because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
The cycles they're just going so quick, Lorena. It's constantly changing. And the other day I'm like, whoa, this is all of a sudden become a probability line now. Now I gotta prepare for this.
Yep.
Like, oh my goodness.
That's exactly how I feel. We're both going through the same thing. And it's like, of course, I had a day where I was crying. I was frustrated. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And then I have to go in, these readings I do for others really helps me. I get messages through them too. And it brings me back to my spirituality, brings me back to my purpose. It brings me back to realizing that this isn't happening to me. It's happening for me. And of course, if the collective would come together in a different way and we could learn these lessons we need to learn quicker, we wouldn't have to be going through these hardships. We wouldn't have to be going through all this insanity right now. But it is a reality. I have to accept it. You have to accept it. We all have to accept it and just do better. Spiritually, internally, heal ourselves through this. And I've got this message, a day or two ago. I was like, well, maybe I'm not meant to be where I am right now physically in this country. Maybe I need to be somewhere else, because I had this message. It was like, if I go to this other place, I'm going to feel like I can heal myself. I can work on myself more. There'll be less things to be preoccupied with. And maybe it is a time to focus 3, 4, 5, 6 months of time to really even go further inward and start healing myself more so I can show up for people even better. It's a crazy time we're living. We need to stay as grounded as we can. Otherwise, we're really going to find ourselves in tricky situations that feel...
We're already in there's a lot of good things that are going to be coming into play now because it's too late to fix some scenarios. But we still have time to fix the if you ask me, more severe ones coming into play. We still have a small, tiny little... Because the cycles are so quick that I feel like it's like you have to stop being on the fence. You got to decide right now, and right now, right? Like there's no more waiting.
No more waiting. I don't know. I think the main message I really wanted to, we talked about a few things, but the main thing is looking forward. If we can focus our energy and just close our eyes, focus our energy on looking forward, what do you see for yourself? What is that version of you that's aligned with her higher or his higher self? That version of you that is projecting into the future for whatever type of lifestyle or things that you want to experience or heal. What would that version do today? What would that version of you be deciding today? Feeling today? And that's something that I really questioned. I was like, wow, why am I so down about all this? I need to get into action mode. I need to decide things differently. I need to look at these situations differently. Am I okay with it? Probably not. No. There's things I really want to change. I want people to wake up quicker, but I can't control other people's free will. That's the reality.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep putting different quotas and limitations on what, let's talk about the Green Pass, right? Currently, what is the Green Pass that they're talking about? It's just you're proving that you had a shot, right? Well, that Green Pass, guys, is going to turn into, can you show me this? Oh, can you also show me that? Things have nothing to do with health. That's what the Green Pass is intended for. That's what the Green Pass is probably going to manage to do if we keep allowing it to. That's what I'm saying. You're not allowed to have kids. No, let me see your Green Pass. Nope, sorry, the government has decided that you can't have kids, for example. No, sorry, the government has decided that you're not allowed to own a home because you're not responsible, or because you're not doing this, or you're not doing that, or, whatever it is they make up, because I can't even figure out half of the shit they're going to make up for it.
It's a slippery slope. We need to realize and wake up. And
so this is not about your health. It never was, actually.
I mean, the pandemic is real. I do feel that, but it's not to the degree that I think it's been made to look.
We never said that the COVID didn't exist. If you ask me personally, Lucia, they knew from the start exactly what medications would help. And they on purpose made it not known, and then once it was known, they on purpose hid it.
There's too much greed and money. That's what I feel. Too much of that involved for it to be about us being healthy, or, it's too much ego. This is where we're being asked to go in the opposite direction. It's not about ego. It's not about fear. It's about us being able to be our own sovereign beings, decide for ourselves, listen to our intuition, heal ourselves.
And you're not responsible for anybody else.
You're not responsible for anybody else. And this is why what Lucy was saying, I think, is really important. Finding our own tribes, our own communities, our own people that can support us. And this isn't about shutting other people out, but this is about you being able to feel supported, because if you can do that at least at a virtual level, that's going to help you. If anything, I've seen the last few weeks is coming together with so many people that were also for this freedom of choice and realizing I'm not alone. Like, there's so many people that are also feeling the same way I am and know that this is really dangerous situation we're in. And we want the best for everybody. And we know that maybe what the governments or these entities are pushing on us, is that for our higher good? Are they really thinking about us? Like, we really need to stop and really meditate on that, I think. Really meditate on that. Because I don't feel that that's it at all.
I mean, like, for example, the Grammys. I think there was a Grammys that happened not too long ago.
I think it was a Grammys, yeah.
None of them had a mask. None of them social distanced. None of them followed any rules. But then young children have to go to school and wear a mask?
Makes no sense.
How are people not seeing that they don't care about your health, they don't care about your child's health? They don't care. They don't care. I think for someone that used to feel supported by their government maybe, or used to feel like the government will fix them I think that happens a lot in like countries where it's like first world. You're used to your government kind of figuring it out for you, or, oh, the government will regulate that, or, right? Something will happen. They'll figure it out. When you come from a country like, I think a third world country, like we lived most of our lives, you get used to, you have to fish your way through things. You're like, no, how do I do this? How do I fix this? The government's never going to freaking do it for you. And I think that's given us, every experience you have gives you whatever you need. I think for you and I, it's given us a head start as to, we've already learned a long time ago the government's not going to fix it for you. And if they are fixing for you, okay, what are you getting? Like in South America, as soon as the government's like, oh, we'll do that for you. Like, wait, what are you getting from it?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Like, why are you doing this? Wait, let's sit down and have a conversation about why you all of a sudden decided you're going to help me with this, right? Like,
yep.
And I think that being from a third world country, you have that perspective. Whereas when you're from a first world country, maybe you're more used to leaning more on the government and just letting them take the head, right?
Yeah, you're just trusting them. I agree with you. I think that does change things a little bit, at least a perspective of it. So I thought it'd be cool to end the episode with us, because we obviously have our Akashic Records open, asking 2 questions to the Akashic Records and seeing what comes through. So what holding on to the past is doing to us, or what is it creating, or what is it holding us back from?
How is holding on to the past affecting us?
Yeah, maybe. How is holding on to the past affecting us? That's a good one. Yeah, I like the way. And is there anything that we need to learn from that, I guess? And what changes are we resisting that we need to let go of or realign with?
What changes are we resisting that we should align with?
Yeah.
For me, the second question, the align with, like, every experience we have is for a reason, right? And so they're trying to get humanity to take control and re-empower. I think this whole, I had put one big lesson around this, like a bubble, right? Around this, this is what this is. And I had to categorize it. The way they're giving it to me is what you're supposed to align with, and what you were supposed to learn was, I need to go find my own information. I need to go do it my own way. I need to feel how it makes me feel. I need to resolve it the way it's best for me to resolve. like, it's not anymore one easy fix. For example, like, I don't know, I have an issue and I go to a psychologist and he's, oh, well, every patient does this. For example, I'm giving a stupid example, but it's like everybody's different. Everyone's going to deal with feelings, issues, circumstances differently. So now you need to personalize your life.
Yep.
You need to personalize your life and realize that you need to put yourself first, empower yourself. And that, it's almost like expansive. It's like it goes to the person next to you, maybe your family, and then the family does it, and then it goes to it just
inspires.
And then we're taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
we're taking over.
The main message I get is just trust yourself. If you're trusting yourself, you're less likely to be making decisions or aligning with things that aren't going to serve you. And I think that's something that we've all had to learn in the last year or two of trusting, like not only ourselves, but like who can we trust? Like trust is a huge word here, and being able to fully trust ourselves so that we can align with what is going on around us in the best way possible. And that means making the best decisions, listening to our intuition, saying yes or saying no when we need to, and allowing ourselves to be our own authority, like I was saying. I think if anything we can change is to start to work on ourselves and trust ourselves and realize that not everything is what it's like, what they're making it out to be.
Have you been feeling, before we answer the next question, I've been feeling in a weird state of limbo lately.
I feel that too.
Where I'm just like, I feel like I'm floating here and I'm kind of semi-killing time going, let me see where this goes. Almost like I'm on like a boat and I'm like, okay, let's see where the current goes now. And I feel like my soul's saying, sit still, stay, wait, let's see. Keep calm, and let's see what happens. Like,
yeah, I keep getting this urge because especially when I feel like something's going to happen, I'm like, how can I be proactive? What should I do? What should I be thinking of? And I feel like I still need to be in that energy, but in another way, I also feel like it is a little bit about taking a step back and being like, okay, let's not make any rash decisions. Let's figure this out. Let's think to the future. What am I projecting by the decisions I'm making today and how I'm feeling? Is there something I need to, like these questions I asked was like, is there something I need to look at? Is there fear around these decisions I might potentially need to make or not make? And how can I work through those? I think this is a time to be very introspective, asking ourselves those hard questions. No one's doing that for us. We can only do that for ourselves.
You know what? And I think the word fear, I want to talk about that for 1 second, because the word fear for me, the way they just showed it to me is fear isn't always just that I'm in fear. Sometimes fear is an active internal activator that's like a gut feeling that's telling you that's actually not the right way for you.
Yeah.
So it could be, for example, you were thinking, Lorena, you particularly, you're thinking, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go over there. And one place made you feel like, that I'm a little scared. It's uncertain. That path is uncertain. That decision's uncertain. I don't even know how to get there. I feel it just mentally just feels all complex and complicated. That fear hitting might not be that it's wrong. It might not be that you're in the wrong place or you're not centered. It might just be it's actually the wrong thing for you.
Totally.
So we need to start spotting the different kinds of, because not one emotion just means one thing.
No, of course not. And this is where, when we're in tune with ourselves, we can start to like figure out where it's coming from. Because if we're just in this energy of like, whatever, then we don't know when we're not trusting ourselves, when we're feeling fear, or when it's like a gut feeling telling us, that just doesn't feel right. I need to go this other way.
Yeah.
That takes practice, right? Like you can't just like cultivate that in a day if you haven't been living that way already. It takes time, it takes practice. And this is where we need to start practicing these things, this new way of living. Let's not look at this new way of living external. Let's look at it internally, right? It's what are the steps and things I'm doing to change the way I'm living internally? Start to have more like meditative practices, start to do more yoga, start to open your own Akashic Records, start to ask yourself those hard questions and get in tune with your emotions, heal things. All of that can help you.
Yeah. And there's things that you might be able to do that help you calm down. For example, today I started a puzzle again.
Yeah.
Like for me, the puzzle makes me stop thinking.
No, not me.
Doesn't that sound funny? You'd think that...
I think all the time. It's hard to stop thinking.
I think it's a different kind of thinking, maybe. I'm not thinking about all this other stuff. I'm just concentrating the puzzle pieces. I don't know. I'm usually listening to like something in the background, maybe Gaia episode or maybe like a podcast or something. But it's like in the background, I'm paying attention to it, but my mind's more occupied with the puzzle.
Yeah. That's good. We each need to find what that is and what helps us. And I think it's doing things more on our own, going more inward. I mean, doing a puzzle could be going inward. You're in a flow state. You're finding pieces. You're trying to like do something visual, you know? So I think that could be really interesting.
Bubby's crying.
Your cat?
Yeah, he's crying.
All right, we just got one more question, then we'll let you guys go. So the last one was, oh gosh, you renamed it.
No, it was the first one. We didn't answer the first one. The first one was what am
I holding on to from the past?
Oh, that's right.
That is like not serving me or something like that. I don't remember exactly the words because we changed it.
Missing something something the way it used to be, for example. Let's say
nostalgia.
Man, I miss how I used to be able to travel around and there's no limitations, and will this flight go, and do I have to take a PCR, and we'll have to quarantine when I get there, and right? Whatever it is, like just being able to book a ticket, all you have to check to see is, do I need a visa for that place? That's it. That's right. Like,
yeah, but there are rules in place now that we need to follow, unfortunately, like regardless.
Yes, but so missing that, not missing that, but like going like, oh man, like I wish, like the wishing kind of thing. It's like
that's bringing our energy back, and we're not staying present, we're not staying grounded, and we're not projecting forward. So this is what I was saying at the beginning. Don't look back. That isn't the reality now. It's changed.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to make a lot of money from parties. And I don't know how many times during the quarantine she called me and said, "Hey, do you think it's going to start again? Because like I have all this merchandise and stuck in, I need to sell it and I need parties to start." I'm like, people should not be partying like they used to, and hopefully they don't, because it's not supposed to happen anymore. I kept telling her. I'm like, get rid of that business already. Forget about it.
Adapt to the new reality.
And oh my God. And then she would call me a month later, like, yeah, because I still have this merchandise thing. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's going to sit there for a while.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, try to make it into something else, I guess, because you cannot sell it for those massive parties you were using it for before.
I think the way you can explain this, like, don't try to make whatever's happening in the present moment something that it's not. It's wishing for something that's not there. And then that's creating so much energetic, like, it's putting out so much energy. Like, put your energy into aligning with what's happening now and how you can project into the future. Is that your cat?
Yes, he's so annoying. He wants to go outside.
Okay, let him out.
No, I can't. He doesn't go out at night.
Okay. Because it's dangerous.
He's not allowed at night. No, because he comes back at like 6 a.m, and I don't know where he is.
Well, cats.
He's out on like
cats hunt, right?
He also needs to accept that there's no more partying like there used to be.
Okay, so what I was saying was, yeah, it's wishing for something that isn't actually able to happen right now, and it's if we can just focus on the present moment and grounding our energy and knowing that there is something new that we need to align to, acceptance, like that's a huge word right now. When I say acceptance, it isn't bowing down to things. It's, I accept that this is happening now. How am I going to align and make my own, like, how am I going to live through this on my own terms, right? And create change.
But you're saying acceptance, but we're talking about the past. Acceptance is different when I talk about the present, when we talk about the future. You don't have to accept certain conditions for the future.
No, of course
if you
not.
think that humanity deserves better.
No, but why are people holding on to the past? Because they don't accept that there's a new reality, that things have changed.
Yeah.
That's all. And I'm not saying, like I said, this isn't about saying, oh, well, yeah, this is just the way we need to live. We need to give in to everything. No, you don't. I accept what's happening now, but do I want to change it? Yeah. What am I going to do about it? I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put energy into that and standing up for what feels right and doing whatever intuitively I feel like I need to do right now. We need to all take action too, in whatever way that feels right to us. But not giving in, but also not craving. And we need to release the past. We need to release it, accept that it's gone. It's like a little bit of mourning, right? We're going to mourn it. We're going to grieve it. And then that's going to allow us to propel forward, move forward, focus on the future, focus on the present, and just move forward.
Yeah. There's nothing I'm really missing about the past, to be honest with you. Except for just having the option of doing something without a bunch of different processes and checking in. That's it. That's the only thing I'm like, that's annoying. But that, to me, is not something that's going to never change if we don't put our foot down. I think that's the one thing that we can say, no, man, stop.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, it's
Get
tricky.
off my back and let me just live my life the way I want to, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's your rebellious side, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm a rebel.
We know that. Anyway, okay, so let's just close off the episode here. I know this probably feels like it went all over the place, but really like I said, focusing on moving forward. Don't look back. Figure out how you need to shift your life, change it so that you can start living in a more aligned way, and realizing that you have the power to do that. Like no one's going to do that for you. And this is all the empowerment that we were talking about in previous episodes, and standing up for what you feel is right. If something I've learned these last few days is there's something so energetically empowering with you aligning with something that you feel is helping the collective, and you being able to stand up for that and do something, take action, help somebody. It's needed. We all need that right now.
Oh, wait, let's just make sure to let people know what we have planned for the Patreon. So we're going to, we've decided that we have a bunch of questions about what may or may not happen. We're seeing different timelines. We're hearing people talk about this probably happening or this happening or blah, blah, blah. So we want to take in all those different probability and possibility lines. And we want to get, I think for me personally, I want to get yes and no answers first from them. I want to take it slow. So be like, is this probability? No. And let's determine which ones are the probability lines that we're talking about. And then from there, get more information about that line. As much as they can, they permit us to have, because we always have a limit, right? So the idea is kind of to see what's the biggest probability now. Maybe we'll get into how we prepare. It depends on how it flows, but the idea is to kind of, it's not predictive, because the Akashic Record is not going to be predicting which line's going to happen. It's seeing which lines are probability lines and be like, yeah, this is probably, yep, this one can happen, this one can happen, right? Because we know that always depends on our free will which one actually is going to end up coming into play, or which one has the most possibility of coming into play. So we're going to be doing it on the Patreon. I don't know if we decided if we want to do it recorded or we want to do it live. Do you know? How do you want to do this?
I don't know. It's a good idea. We're going to figure that out, I think, but it'll probably come. I don't know if we're going to do it live. I think we still need to that's something we do like quarterly. We do a live Zoom call just to connect with everybody, but maybe we'll switch it up this year. I think we generally at the end of the year, November-ish, we project onto what's coming for the coming year through the Akashic Record. So we channel about 2022, right? So maybe what we can do is we'll do our normal episode here, which I think everybody enjoys. But then when we do it on Patreon, we'll go deeper and further, and we'll do it in like a live format, recorded and put it up. I think that'd be pretty cool. Instead of doing just our normal live
we could do that.
Zoom call.
I'm up for that, because I really want to see what comes through. I'm also interested, and I've been preparing for certain scenarios, so I want to see what they say about those. And it'd be really interesting to see what they have to say about that social media crash that happened as well.
I'm definitely going to pull out my runes for that as well, because I think the runes really just confirm the messages coming through. So that'll definitely be a part of.
I know he's really annoying, because it's like he doesn't get it. You can ignore him, and I'll just keep crying. And he knows he can't go out at night. He knows I'm not going to let him out, but he's trying. Anyways,
of course,
what was I going to say to you? So that'd be cool, and also, it's going to be. I'm excited about doing this one, and And the Patreon, the Telegram group, we always kind of discuss different things that are going on and theories, and so I haven't channeled most of them. What this guy's what did he find? I don't know. I think he found one of Aurora's toys, and he's just like knocking it around. Now he okay. I think he's not bored.
He's bored.
It's because he'll calm down if you go and sit on the couch. Because I'm downstairs, right? He
wants your attention.
Dude, he just like totally jumped really
What
high.
is he doing?
You know, like the cat jump thing?
Oh my
when
God.
they're playing with something? It's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to bore people, yeah.
Anyways, okay. Yeah, we're going to bore you with the cat stories. Okay, so just a quick reminder before we go. We have our Akashic Records Level 2 Zoom course. So that will be on November 13th, 14th, and 21st. I'll link that information on the show notes so you can check it out. All the information details will be there. We have limited spots, so if you are interested and you've already done level 1 with us, either on Udemy or on our Soul Tribe Academy or through our live Zoom courses, you are more than welcome to come join us on level 2 if that's something that's calling out to you. So level 2 basically is for you to learn to read other people's Akashic records. And then after that, I think I just wanted to quickly mention that we are still doing podcast assistance help or whatever you want to call it. I don't really have a name for it. So if you are looking to start a podcast, looking for assistance with your podcast now, or just need certain assistance with coaching or with certain aspects of your business, feel free to reach out to us and ask us any questions, and we can chat about whatever you need help with, and we can assist you through that. And I think that's about it. So we'll see you guys next week with a new episode, and we want to send you guys a big hug, and feel free to reach out to us as well about any of these topics via social media or email. We love to hear from you guys. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys really soon.
Bye, guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.